Hi everyone, and welcome to today's drawing session. Today we're just going to have a little look at leaf veins. And this is a really nice kind of quiet session. You can lose yourself a little bit. It's really good for building the skills of drawing what you see, so kind of starting to transfer the detail that we see on the leaf onto paper. All you need is a piece of paper and a sharp pencil. So this is a B, but if you have a HB, 2B, anything, any pencil will do, anything out of a child's pencil case. It's all you need. We do not need anything fancy. But what we're going to do today is a nice little line drawing of these veins. And the one thing we're really trying to achieve is to kind of mirror the structure. So my goal in this at the end is to have a pretty little drawing, number one. Number two is to really kind of mirror the structure that we see here. So we have our big, thick midrib that goes all the way up the middle of the leaf. The secondary veins that come off are a little bit thinner, and again, they taper out towards the end, and they all connect up. So really what I want to do is get the essence of this kind of leaf vein structure. And you can do this with any leaf. Go outside, pick yourself a leaf. Every single one will have a different structure, different things to copy. And it's a really nice, quick little practice project you can do. So we're not worrying too much about kind of, I guess, copying the outside shape of the leaf. So I am going to start really easily and I'm pressing really lightly. And I'm just going to trace around my leaf, right? I'm giving myself a head start. Is it cheating? I don't care. I don't care. We are here to have fun. We are here to have a nice, quiet little session drawing, right? We want to have a nice time. We want to enjoy ourselves. I want to give you something that allows you to switch off from whatever rubbish day at work you might have had or whatever challenging things might be going on in your brain. I want to give you just a quiet little thing that you can do on your own at home. Computer's turned itself off. There we go. So I've got the outline of my leaf, which I have traced. And now I'm going to start adding in this detail. So the thing I want to focus on the most is, just to start with, is just very gently sketching and mapping out where these veins sit. And then I'm going to start to work on kind of more of the structure afterwards. So the first one I'm going to put in is my big vein. So it starts off quite thick and heavy, and it basically like tapers out as it goes up to the top. So I want to get that essence of that going in. It's fairly straight. There's not too many kinks on it. So whatever leaf you have in front of you at home, or if you're drawing this one, like I'm doing a parallel line, but these lines are getting closer and closer together, and now they're joining. So if I move this camera in a little bit, you can see we've got much thicker down here, and then thinner and thinner and thinner, and then it tapers off right up to the top. So that's what I'm aiming for, is just this kind of structure. So once we've got our main vein in, we've got these little veins that come off the side, and these are actually not straight. They don't go straight out to the side of the leaf. They kind of bend upwards and curve in. So I'm just going to gently start to sketch out kind of where these sit. And this is a really good skill to kind of train your eye just to kind of copy what's actually there, not what you think you see. Because whenever, kids at school want to think about drawing stuff, we draw a leaf in the middle, a little thing, and then we do our bits going up the side like this. And that's not how it works. So we want to kind of actually draw what is here. So this is a really great skill to have. So I've got in my first secondary vein, and now a little bit further up, we've got another one. And again, this bounces up and it kind of wiggles a little bit. It almost has like a little curve to it, like a little bounce, and it joins in to this next one up. So I'm going to start bringing this out towards the side, and it's got a little bit of curve, a little bit of a bounce, and then it almost curves up and back in towards the main vein, and that's where it meets this second one. Sorry, this third one. So this starts about here. And I'm not striving for perfection here. I'm very much kind of sketching. It doesn't matter if you have this in slightly the wrong place and you want to add another little line, that's fine. But we just want to get the essence of what's going on. So looking up this side, there are no other kind of major veins going up this side. So I'm going to move on to the other side. Sorry, my screen keeps turning off so I can't see what you see. There we go. Cat has decided to join me. We're about to get cattail in the in the frame as well. So on the other side, again, we're drawing what we see. So when I look at this, where these join, this one on this side comes in a little bit underneath, and again it skirts up and kind of round towards the side. A little kink in the middle there, and up it goes. And I'm very much thinking about varying my pressure, so I'm doing kind of more towards the base where these are heavier, and then tapering them away towards the side. As you can see, this gets thinner and lighter. So this is really good practice for you as well. So this next one comes in again slightly below, and it curves up. Less of a kink in this one, and that curves up and kind of towards the edge. And then there's almost a little bridge that joins it to the next one up. So the cat is trying to steal my pencils now. If you have animals, you may wish to ban them from your studios. So this third one comes in a little bit below, and again it kind of comes up and towards here. So there we go, that bounces up that way and almost skirts along the parallel to the edge of the leaf. There's another little kind of connector to another fairly strong vein up there. So what we've now got here, and here's, I did a little leaf rubbing earlier so you can maybe see. These can be really useful for kind of showing you the size and shape of the leaves, and also the little kind of tiny leaves down the bottom. Let me just throw the cat off the table. Because what you'll see is we've got this primary vein, we've got these ones coming off it, and it's so important to note that these all join up, right? We don't want any gaps, like we don't want any spaces here, because this is a connection of tubes basically that carry all of the nutrients around the plant. So you can see from this how these all join up, and this is kind of how I want my drawing to look. So you can do these leaf rubbings. If you wanted to do one yourself, you literally need, I've got tracing paper here, but if you have any kind of lightweight paper like printer paper, we literally lay it over our leaf. Pencil, you want to go flat on the side, and that will give you these kind of leaf rubbings. So that can be really useful for kind of showing you just the strengths of these veins. So now I've got kind of my big structures drawn. I'm going to spend the rest of my time just ever so gently kind of sketching out how these sit. So these thick ones very much have two sides with a gap in the middle. As these get thinner, they will become just kind of lines on my picture. But what I want to do is very gently just start to plan this out. So I've got my little lines, and they get closer and closer together, and they get lighter and lighter. And so this kind of practice, what we're doing here, is very much about varying our pencil lines, varying the pressure that we're doing, the shape of the lines, the strength of those lines. I want this to get lighter and lighter. So you can see here, it's darker here and lighter here, and it's kind of that gradient away that I'm trying to build. So again, this one is thicker down this end. So like this is another good skill that we're practicing here, is drawing parallel lines, which is an art in itself. Very much something that is worthwhile practicing. So you can see I've started to get the shape of my veins coming. I'm going to do the edge of my midrib, and I'm going to do that quite strongly. And then we've got this one coming off. And this comes up this way, around here. And again, this one's got some really lovely little kind of kinks and bounces to it. And then that joins everything together up there. And there we go. And then down here, and then there's an ever so slight kind of little vein that comes up this way, joins up to there, and goes off that way. And this is, say, it's really great practice. So I'm now going to start to fill in these extra little veins that are between everything. And they might be quite hard to see on the camera, but what you'll start to get the sense of is that these little things just all kind of join up between the two. So it's almost like little bridges, little pathways that go between them. And I'm just going to start to fill these in. So currently the light is coming in quite strongly through my window. So actually I can see the shadows of these far easier than I can see them on the paper. But I'm just going to start to fill these in And again, they're relatively straight. Some of them have little kinks in. But as you can see, we're starting to really map out these vein structures. And this is what you want to do with whichever leaf's in front of you, whether you're copying this one, whether you're doing your own. It's just to start to get these bits kind of filled in. So we've got a bit more kind of detail going onto our drawing. Now I actually can't see too many. These ones around the edge, they do kind of very much like fade away. Like they don't have a hard stop. They just kind of taper out. And so that's the essence that I'm trying to capture with this. Is just that sort of just that little sense of they're there and they're fading away. Let me turn on my screen, make sure you can still see what I'm doing. You can see that light's coming in really strongly now. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day outside. Briefly, it's been awful weather here on the Isle of Man lately. So I will take all the sunshine I can get. So I'm going to hold this up to the camera. So I'm going to start to fill in these very fine veins in the middle. But you see the lines really aren't very strong. So this one here is just here. And so we've got some other little lines coming between. And so my goal for this is to be able to see that very distinctive kind of vein structure. So this actually joins up to the midrib there. And this is just one of those things that it's really great practice for you just to see kind of what these leaves do, to look at the structure. And the more practice you do on the more different leaves, the better your drawing will get. So it's a really simple, almost mindful kind of drawing practice you can do, and you don't need long, and you don't need loads of stuff, and you can do it sitting in front of the TV as well. You can, have a little bit of paper and a pencil while the TV is on. You don't need to be, fully set up at a desk. But it is a really just lovely little kind of practice to do at home. There's a little bit of a more solid vein there. So what you're aiming for with your picture is almost to have 3 distinctive types of vein. So we've got our big midrib vein that we want to make sure is the thickest and strongest of all of our lines. We've got our secondary veins that come off. And again, these want to be kind of our mid thickness, mid weight when we think about kind of pencil lines, pencil weight. And then we've got our tiny little veins that are kind of the interconnecting web. And these want to be our thinnest and our lightest lines. So one of the challenges I see quite often with beginners is going in too strong, like 2 extremes really, either too strong too quickly or just not enough. So these thick middle veins, I'm very much wanting to kind of make them nice and strong, but then I really want to lighten up with the second ones. So you want just the right amount of pressure, and that's something that only comes from practice. So the more of these you do, the better they're going to get. So I'm going to just turn my page a little bit because I can't draw from that angle. I'm going to have to do it from this angle. So you will find, like, I do turn my page a lot when I draw because I like it to be at a certain angle for me to see what's going on and just to work the best. So I like to kind of work so I can see upwards. I don't ever want my pencil or my hand to be in the way of what I'm doing. I want to clearly be able to see those marks that my pencil is making. So again, we've got another little one down here, and this has got some lovely little bounces in it, with other little veins coming off. And you can add as much or as little as you like to this. This is a really good one if you wanted to think about doing anything in pen. You could go over this in a nice fine liner pen and like make a really cool drawing with these. You can just stick to pencil. You can, if you've got paints and you want to add like a color wash over this, you can do that. So there's lots and lots of options. But what you're really focusing on is we want to go from heavier to lighter with our pencil strokes and thicker to thinner with the vein width. So I very much want to convey just this kind of structure of everything fanning out from the middle. And I say 30 minutes because at the moment I have neither the time nor the inclination to be drawing for hours on end. Like I just can't do it. So anything we can do that is short and sweet, that gives us that, just that little mental break and that little bit of time to do something we enjoy in our otherwise chaotic and busy lives, can only be a good thing. Now, this side of the leaf is amazing because these kind of tertiary veins are all quite far apart, and these ones, there's a whole little section here that are really close together in a little line, quite funny, like that. That's coming along nicely. And then we've got our other little bits that go this way. A really nice kink in the middle of that one, another bit that comes off, and that joins into another two, and kind of going that way. So there's lots of kind of fun that we can have with this and things that we can do. So at the moment we're just practicing transferring what we see onto paper. But if you're wanting kind of easy things that don't take a lot of materials and a lot of time, but that will make a big difference to your work, these are the sorts of things that you need to be working on, that just take the little time to practice. It will do you the world of good. So I'm lining the side of my vein and I'm making sure I leave a gap for any of these thicker veins. So a lot of them are quite thin and I'm just doing them as lines, but any of these tertiary ones, these are tubes that are interconnected. We don't want hard lines going across, kind of blocking things off. We're just going to keep on. These are all weird, lots of little weird kinks and weird little patterns that join in together on these bits. And then we've got, that's another fairly strong one. And then this main vein basically disappears up towards the top. And some more of these coming off the side. And then I'm just going to strengthen up my mid vein. Because again, that's nice and thick and strong, and that is what we want to have as our kind of dominant piece. And then I'm going to start. So from the way my camera is in my angle, the shade on these, so I actually want a little bit of a thicker line underneath. So I'm just going to add some little bits, a little bit of strength under these. But there we have it. This today has not taken very long at all. But actually it's a really nice, cool little picture to be working on. So that has taken us less than 20 minutes.